This is the Conscious Hour. One of the sources I use for great information is Mahmoud, and I've been tracking him, following him ever since October 7th. So let's get into really what's happening on the ground and why is it not being broadcast on U.S. media? He's going to do a brief intro here. Let's get after this one.
But that was the first wave of attacks following the arrival of Mujtaba Khamenei, the new supreme leader. That was the first attack, a wave that included heavy missiles and multi-warhead missiles against Israel, and they had a complete blackout. Now, Israel was attacking multiple heavily populated places where people were protesting in support of the new supreme leader. There were multiple protests in Iran to support the new supreme leader, as we can see in one of these videos.
Look at all the people. You didn't get that one, Donald Trump. Nope, Donald Trump. You can't get that kind of crowd at all.
So the millions of Iranian people went out in their complete support and solidarity with the son of the martyr, Ali Khamenei, to show solidarity and pledge allegiance to him. The millions are in the streets. The blood of the supreme leader lit up the fire of the Iranian people who are now completely pledging allegiance to the supreme leader, the new supreme leader of Iran. And what they're trying to do
83
is
million people live in Iran.
As a matter of fact, they're literally threatening and conducting huge massacres to a level where they targeted Isfahan, where so many people were gathering, and in defiance of these attacks, people were still protesting. So the Americans and Israelis are landing bombs next to gatherings of people, the same people who they claim they want to liberate, simply because they're gathering, but not for the reasons that the American and Israeli side want them to gather. They're gathering in support of their country, in support of their independence, and to resist the Epstein regime and Zionist aggression against their people. And look at the complete defiance of the people. Strikes literally next to them. Complete defiance. Chanting and continuing to resist this aggression coming from the United States and Israel. How can you defeat people like that? People like that cannot be defeated. And the sooner the American-Israeli sides understand that, the merrier. Now,
there's 83 million Iranians. 83 million. And they're out in the streets. And when they were telling you those protesters were being killed, there were 100,000, that was a lie. There were 3,300 people killed during this last, what they called on the Western side, oh, they're revolting inside. It's an internal revolution. We've got to help those people from this tyrannical, megalomaniac people that run this country. I mean, like, what? Anyways, let's get back into this one. It's just shocking to see the news in the U.S. Usually you could get a little bit of truth, but now you can't get anything.
What's happening with the 31st and 32nd waves? There was a very important report that came from Iran that the IRGC, following the appointment or the election of Mujtaba Khamenei, made a decision. And that decision is, you don't launch missiles under 1 ton warheads, with warheads under 1 ton. That's the next equation. So if the Iran was launching missiles that weighed like 500, or the warhead had was TNT, I'm talking about, like, that's a big number. 500 kg warhead, TNT explosives, or 700 kg. The new equation now in Iran is that that's past us now. Any missile that is going to be landing on Israel is going to be at least a 1-ton missile. 1-ton missile, as in the type that
200 pounds.
Substantial damage.
Yes.
Let's see what they did in operations or waves 31 and 34 in True Promise 4. The IRGC launched the 31st and 32nd waves of Operation True Promise 4 with typically heavy missiles now.
So this is their newer generation of missiles.
Mujtaba Khamenei, who was elected by the country's assembly of experts. That's the assembly that elects any new supreme leader. So that's dedicated to the new supreme leader. This is the new minimum that Israel will be seeing. Later, the Public Relations Department of the IRGC announced the implementation of the 32nd wave.
Okay, so we're going to fast forward this and get into the wave, because I want to see the wave so people can see firsthand the kind of damage that's actually happening from these massive missile strikes. Arsenal more than 100,000 missiles. Not these super powerful ones, but over 100,000. This thing, all Iran had to do, and Israel and the United States, was get down, have some tea, break some bread, and say, hey, let's stop this thing. But oh no, Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump's getting scared, because he knows that they'll never win this thing. Netanyahu, he's traveling around trying to avoid getting killed.
You can even listen to the Iranian missiles. The missiles are angry. It's as if the missiles are their own beast. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not a beast, no. Their own entity being launched at the American bases over there. And the Zionist entity, of course. These were some of the attacks that were coming from Iran. Of course, the attacks are continuing day after day.
I'm going to pause this for a second.
But today, one of the
Those are drones. Those drones cost a few $1,000s. And they do quite a bit of damage, and they've got hundreds of thousands of those. So think of little hornets coming in the sky like bees. Maybe one night you launch 3,000 of them, or 2,000 of them. All programmed selectively to target. And these are just drones, folks.
So that was the recent attack coming from Iran against an American asset.